Welcome, everyone, to the AXA Engineers podcast, episode 7. We're really glad you could join us today for, well, a genuinely unique kind of deep dive. This isn't just about throwing information at you. It's really about digging into insights that could fundamentally transform how you understand an industry that's, well, it's quietly undergoing a massive strategic shift. Okay, let's unpack this. Today, we're diving deep into the evolving landscape of civil engineering. Specifically, we want to focus on how strategic civil engineering outsourcing is, reshaping the industry right from its foundations. It's a topic that honestly gets misunderstood quite a bit, often just boiling down to, it's about saving money. But as we're hoping to show today, its real power isn't just in efficiency. It's much more profound. It's about unlocking totally new possibilities for growth, for innovation, and, well, for a completely new way of thinking about talent within your own firm.
Yeah, what's truly fascinating here, I think, is seeing how these forward-thinking civil engineering firms are discovering something quite powerful. They're finding they can not only break through these existing, often deeply ingrained growth limits, but they can also cultivate entirely new levels of internal expertise. And innovation, and this isn't just about pouring more money internally, is happening by strategically partnering with specialized providers. So our mission today really is to explore that whole transformative journey. We'll focus on how, a deliberate collaboration with a powerhouse like AXA Engineers can fundamentally redefine a firm's potential, its whole trajectory even.
Absolutely. And look, as we get into this deep dive, we really do invite you, our listener, to follow us, share your thoughts. Please comment with any questions or, reflections this discussion sparks for you. We're genuinely interested to hear your perspectives on these changes, especially how they might relate to your own experiences out there in civil engineering. Okay, so let's kick things off by tackling what we started calling the growth paradox. It's a challenge that many civil engineering firms bump up against, often without really grasping how serious its impact is, until it's already kind of stifling their progress. The core issue isn't really a lack of talent, not at all. Instead, it's that a significant number of firms, they eventually hit this very real growth limit. And it happens precisely because their most senior, their most highly skilled, and crucially, their most expensive engineers are just perpetually bogged down with routine, often pretty repetitive tasks. Just think about the irony there for a second. It's a tragic misallocation of brilliance, isn't it? You've got these extraordinary minds, right? People who are the architects of innovation, the strategic problem solvers, the ones who can navigate complex regulations or, foresee future infrastructure needs, yet they find themselves spending hours, sometimes whole days, just meticulously tied up in tasks like basic drafting or repetitive design tweaks or standard calculations.
Yeah.
Things that, they're necessary for the project, but they just don't demand that unique senior level expertise.
Exactly. It's like having a top surgeon spending half their day filling out basic forms.
Precisely. Imagine a principal engineer, right? Someone whose strategic vision could be shaping entire cityscapes or designing climate-resilient infrastructure. And instead, they're spending their incredibly valuable time drawing basic lines in CAD. Or, manually checking minor details on a plan set. It's not just inefficient, it's like this insidious organizational debt that builds up. It eats away at morale because your best people feel underutilized. It stifles that creative spark you need to adapt. And ultimately, it makes your firm less attractive to top talent looking for real challenges and to those forward-thinking clients who want cutting-edge solutions. They have the capacity for this amazing high-level work, but their most precious resource, their time. It's just consumed by tasks that, frankly, could and should be handled differently.
And that's exactly why it's such a profound paradox, isn't it?
Yeah.
The very people who should be pushing the firm forward, leading innovation, spearheading new business development efforts, providing that critical strategic oversight, they're the ones caught in the daily grind, the undertow of minutia. This scenario doesn't just impact a firm's capacity for innovation, it actively suppresses it.
Right.
Senior minds, constantly reacting to immediate fires, they just don't have the headspace to think creatively or strategically about pioneering new methods, exploring new materials, or developing solutions for the really big challenges. And it cripples business development too.
Yeah.
Because the leaders who should be out there, cultivating those big client relationships, researching new markets, building partnerships, they're stuck at their desks, buried under routine work.
Tied to the deliverables.
Exactly. And it inevitably compromises critical oversight. Because their attention, it's fragmented, spread thin across loads of low-level tasks. Instead of being focused squarely on the high-level strategy, the quality control, the risk mitigation, things only their experience can really handle. This whole situation just highlights a massive industry challenge. How do you actually maximize your human capital when your most valuable assets, your highest paid professionals, are inadvertently stuck doing work that doesn't leverage their full capability? It's about realizing that expertise isn't just knowing how to do something. It's strategically knowing when and where to apply that expertise for the biggest impact, for real transformative value.
That really paints a clear picture of the growth paradox, and it leads us perfectly into our next crucial point. Thinking about civil engineering outsourcing as a strategic lever, not just, a way to save a few bucks. For way too long, I think, the whole idea of outsourcing has been seen through this really narrow lens, just cost reduction. People instantly think, oh, it's just about getting work done cheaper overseas, maybe even cutting corners.
That's the common perception.
But what we really want to demonstrate today is that the true multifaceted power of civil engineering outsourcing, especially when you partner meticulously with specialized providers like AXA Engineers, its real strength lies in its incredible ability to transform a team's capabilities, to unlock its full, often untapped potential. Let's just speculate for a second. Imagine the ripple effect inside a civil engineering firm if its senior people suddenly got back, say, 20 to 30% of their week, maybe even more.
That's a significant chunk of time.
Huge. Think about what a firm could actually achieve if its most valuable, highest paid resources were strategically freed from that gravitational pull of routine tasks. This isn't primarily about shaving a bit off the overhead, although, sure, those efficiencies are there. This is about fundamentally reshaping the strategic capability, the intellectual bandwidth of the entire organization.
Right, it's about capacity building.
Exactly. What groundbreaking projects could they go after? What new services could they develop? What innovations could they pioneer that would totally redefine their place in the market? The possibilities, when you look at it strategically like this, they become really expansive, almost revolutionary, you could say. And this is where the strategic nature of civil engineering outsourcing really comes into its own. It transforms not just how work gets done, but the very nature of what a firm can become.
It's really about understanding that the value proposition of a strategic partnership goes way beyond the immediate bottom line. It's a deep investment in future capacity and competitive resilience. And, we have a fantastic real-world example of this strategic thinking. From Chris Levis, the VP of Love's Engineering PC, they really got this paradigm shift.
Yeah, Chris Levis. He found himself in that situation that probably resonates with so many listeners right now, that incredibly common dilemma. He was caught, basically, between the relentless demands of daily project production, just getting the work out the door.
The day-to-day firefighting.
Exactly. And that constantly competed with the crucial but often postponed need for proactive business development. He knew his firm needed to grow, needed to expand its horizons, but he and his senior team were just perpetually stuck in that reactive cycle, just churning out the immediate deliverables. That's such a familiar, frustrating story for so many firms trying to break out of that cycle. He knew something fundamental had to give to escape that reactive mode.
A very common pain point.
So Levis made a really pivotal strategic call. He chose to offload a significant chunk of their drafting and their routine design work to AXA Engineers. And here's the absolutely critical piece. This decision was not primarily driven by cutting costs. Sure, like we said, there are cost efficiencies with civil engineering outsourcing, no doubt, but Levis's main driver was much more strategic.
Right.
It was purely about reclaiming the most precious commodity for his senior team, their time. Time that was just being swallowed whole by tasks that, while necessary, didn't need his senior team's top-tier strategic input. It was about redirecting that incredibly valuable human capital.
And I love his own words. They just perfectly capture the strategic pivot. They really underscore the transformative power of this kind of civil engineering outsourcing. He said, and I'm quoting here, "I'm really thankful that offloading drafting and design work to AXA has allowed me to focus on winning new projects and building my business."
Wow, that says it all, really.
It really does. That one sentence illustrates the core principle so clearly. Strategic civil engineering outsourcing amplifies your existing expertise. It doesn't drain it. It's not about replacing your internal people, which is a common fear and misconception. It's about empowering them, letting them operate at the absolute highest level of their capabilities.
Bring them up.
Exactly. By shedding that burden of routine production, Levis and his team could make a decisive shift from being constantly reactive, just putting out fires, to adopting a truly proactive, forward-looking growth mindset. This allowed them to really focus on securing a steady, healthy pipeline of future work and to strategically build out their business. Which, let's be honest, that's the real engine for sustainable growth and long-term health for any civil engineering firm. It's all about optimizing your human capital for maximum strategic impact. It's smart business.
Okay, now here's where it gets really fascinating, I think. Because that freed up time, it's not just about, giving people a breather or reducing stress, although that's nice too.
Definitely a side benefit.
It's about active, intentional, strategic redirection of that senior expertise. By partnering with a specialist like AXA Engineers for those routine, time-heavy tasks that used to eat up your best resources, your senior engineers can now dedicate themselves, like with full focus, to 4 key high-value areas. These are the critical pillars where their expertise can really make a difference, generate exponential value, and drive the firm forward in a deeply meaningful and sustainable way.
Right, focusing on the highest leverage activities.
Exactly. Pillar number 1, and you could argue it's one of the most vital for long-term survival and success, is business development, BD. With this newfound capacity, your senior engineers are no longer just reacting to RFPs that happen to land on their desk. They're empowered to proactively go out and identify emerging market opportunities, to meticulously research, say, new trends in sustainable infrastructure, to strategically build robust, lasting relationships with potential clients.
Getting ahead of the curve.
Yeah. This means attending key industry events not just as passive attendees, but as active thought leaders. Developing really compelling, winning proposals that don't just meet the spec, but truly showcase the firm's unique strengths, its innovative thinking, its capabilities. This isn't just waiting for the phone to ring. It's about actively cultivating and chasing the kind of high-impact work that really aligns with the firm's strategic goals.
And this renewed, dedicated focus on business development, it's absolutely essential for securing that steady pipeline of future work. Absolutely critical for ensuring the firm stays relevant, maybe even leads in what's a very competitive civil engineering market.
No doubt.
Without dedicated, uninterrupted time for BD, firms often get caught in that reactive scramble, right? Just bidding on whatever comes along, often fighting on price, razor-thin margin.
Race to the bottom.
Precisely. But when your senior talent is actively, strategically engaged in business development, identifying niche markets, developing new service offerings like, say, digital twin implementation or advanced water resource management, creating influential content, nurturing relationships with key government agencies or major developers, they can strategically target projects. Projects that not only play to their deepest expertise, but also offer higher value, greater impact, and frankly, better margins. This consistent, focused effort in BD, that's what fundamentally separates the thriving, visionary firms from the ones just treading water or struggling. It's a strategic investment that pays off for years and years, securing the firm's future.
Okay, so you've used that freed up time for BD. You've won the project. That flows perfectly into the second critical area, client relationship management. Because once you've got the project, the real value, the long-term success, that often lies in nurturing those client relationships, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely fundamental.
This is where senior engineers can really go deep with clients. Move beyond just, transactional updates. We're talking about genuinely understanding their evolving needs, maybe even anticipating them. Proactively addressing concerns before they become problems. Ensuring absolute satisfaction through the whole project lifecycle and maybe even after. It's about becoming more than just a vendor. Becoming a true, trusted, indispensable partner.
Precisely. And this kind of deep, ongoing, intentional engagement with clients, it doesn't just massively increase the odds of repeat business, which, let's face it, is the lifeblood of any service firm. Much more efficient than constantly chasing new leads.
Much cheaper.
Much cheaper. But it also fundamentally enhances the firm's reputation in the market. And a stellar reputation, built carefully through consistent, high-quality client interaction that naturally opens doors to invaluable new referrals. It organically grows your client base, lowers your marketing spend. What's really key here is that strong, resilient client partnerships. They're often the single biggest factor in sustained success. But they require focus, consistent attention. The exact kind of attention that stretched internal teams, bogged down in routine work, often just can't provide effectively. When senior engineers are freed up through strategic civil engineering outsourcing, maybe with a partner like AXA Engineers, they can dedicate time to nurturing these vital relationships. Turning satisfied clients into long-term advocates, collaborators, maybe even strategic allies on future bids. It's about building a real community around your firm's expertise.
That makes perfect sense, and it leads directly into the third pillar, which is equally crucial for delivering that excellence and maintaining the firm's integrity. High-level project oversight. When your senior staff aren't buried in the day-to-day production details, when their mental energy isn't consumed by routine checks and balances, they gain this crucial capacity. The capacity to truly focus on maintaining the big picture project strategy, ensuring the highest possible quality standards are met consistently, and proactively managing risks before they escalate into expensive problems or delays.
Right, seeing the forest, not just the trees.
Exactly. It's about having that strategic panoramic view instead of just being constantly down in the trenches fixing minor issues.
And this increased capacity for high-level oversight, it's immensely valuable, not just for individual projects, but for the firm's overall reputation and its profitability.
Sure.
It allows senior engineers to diligently monitor critical project milestones, to spot and address emerging technical challenges or potential roadblocks early on, to ensure all the deliverables don't just meet the client's specs, but also navigate the increasingly complex web of regulation.
Compliance is huge.
Huge. And this enhanced level of attention to detail isn't just about catching errors or preventing rework, though that's important. It fundamentally protects the firm's hard-won reputation. It mitigates potential legal headaches or compliance nightmares that could derail a project entirely. And ultimately, it lets them deliver projects that consistently exceed expectations. That strengthens their market position, their competitive edge. By having their most experienced minds focused on the sophisticated level of scrutiny, firms can prevent costly rework, safeguard their finances, and build a track record of delivering absolutely superior, reliable results. It's a direct investment in integrity and excellence.
Okay, and that brings us to the fourth pillar, which for me is genuinely one of the most exciting and future-focused benefits: internal talent development and innovation. Once they're freed from that daily grind, those routine tasks, senior engineers are now perfectly positioned to become true mentors to the junior staff, providing invaluable hands-on guidance, in-depth training, really supporting their professional growth in a meaningful way.
Passing on that tacit knowledge.
Exactly. And it's not just about scheduling formal training sessions. It's about those real-time, in-project learning moments where knowledge just flows naturally between experienced and developing engineers.
And this direct, continuous mentorship, it significantly strengthens the firm's overall capabilities over time. You're building a more skilled, more resilient, more adaptable team from the ground up, creating a really robust internal knowledge base.
Building bench strength.
Absolutely. And simultaneously, these same senior experts, they now have the headspace, the dedicated time, the energy to actually research and meticulously implement truly innovative engineering solutions. They can explore groundbreaking new technologies, maybe AI and design, advanced materials, new simulation techniques, investigate cutting-edge methodologies, develop pioneering approaches to complex challenges. This ensures the firm doesn't just keep up with industry trends, but actively shapes them, stays ahead of the curve.
Proactive, not reactive.
Exactly. It means the firm can quickly adapt to evolving client demands, changing market conditions. This strategic shift, moving from just routine task execution to genuine value creation. It does more than just optimize workflows. It fundamentally positions the firm for future opportunities. It cultivates an agile culture, builds a resilient, forward-looking organization ready for whatever comes next. And all of this, as we've been exploring, is powerfully enabled by smart civil engineering outsourcing, especially with strategic partners like AXA Engineers, who can absorb those essential but time-consuming routine tasks, allowing this profound internal transformation and upskilling to actually happen.
You know, you touched on something absolutely critical there: adapting to market demands and leveraging new opportunities strategically. That brings us neatly to our next major point, which we're calling the knowledge multiplier effect. This isn't just about saving time or maybe trimming costs anymore. This is about potentially exponential scaling expertise and technological capacity.
Moving beyond efficiency to amplification.
Right. For so many civil engineering firms, especially those aiming to compete on bigger, more complex projects, the constant question is, okay, how can we extend our expertise? How do we boost our capabilities without just incurring these completely prohibitive costs that could, sink the ship? In civil engineering today, it feels like the defining factor for leadership, for competitive edge, is increasingly the ability to rapidly scale up both specialized expertise and cutting-edge tech capacity on demand.
And for many firms, especially the small and mid-sized ones, the SMEs that are really hungry to grow, the main hurdle, often an insurmountable one, is the huge capital cost. The cost of acquiring advanced software licenses and the specialized high-performance hardware you need to actually run it effectively.
Yeah, the sticker shock can be intense.
Intense is right. We're talking about industry standards, yes, but incredibly expensive platforms. Things like Autodesk, Civil 3D, Revit. These are now basically essential if you want to compete on complex, data-heavy, BIM-enabled projects.
Table stakes almost.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the sheer cost of buying multiple licenses for these powerful tools, let alone constantly upgrading the computers, the servers, maybe cloud infrastructure to run them smoothly and collaboratively, can be truly daunting. This financial barrier effectively creates a divide between firms with deep pockets who can make those massive upfront investments and those who risk falling behind. It limits the scope of work they can bid on, narrows their competitive field significantly. It's a real technological glass ceiling.
Okay, so if buying everything in-house presents such a high bar, often just too high, what's the realistic alternative? How do firms get immediate access to these advanced tools, these capabilities? This seems to be precisely where a strategic civil engineering outsourcing partner, someone like AXA Engineers, really comes into its own, offering a powerful, flexible, and actually financially smart solution to this common industry problem.
Indeed it is. AXA Engineers, for example, they have deliberately, meticulously built up a really significant concentration of both cutting-edge software assets and a deep bench of highly skilled specialist professionals who know how to use them inside out. Just to give you a concrete, measurable example of their capabilities in civil engineering outsourcing. Consider this. AXA Engineers was officially ranked #1 in Vietnam for holding the highest number of Civil 3D licenses back in 2023.
Wow. #1.
#1. Now, that's not just a brag. It signifies a huge, deliberate, ongoing investment in the very tools and the specialized expertise that many individual firms really struggle to acquire and maintain themselves. By collaborating with a proven, advanced partner like AXA Engineers, firms get immediate access to sophisticated tools, advanced capabilities, everything from complex parametric modeling to running clash detection on massive BIM models without any of the delays, the steep learning curves, or those prohibitive capital costs you'd face trying to do it all in-house. It's truly instant scalability.
That's a massive difference. It sounds like a complete financial game changer for a firm. Instead of, sinking potentially hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions into new systems, high-end hardware, and the constant costly upgrade cycle.
The tech treadmill.
Yeah. These advanced capabilities can effectively be accessed as a service on an as-needed basis. So you're basically turning a huge capital expense, a CapEx burden, into a flexible, scalable operational cost, an OpEx line item. That's huge for piloting, for strategic agility.
Precisely. And this shift, it raises a really important question for the whole industry, doesn't it? How does this immediate access actually democratize advanced engineering capabilities?
Yeah, levels the playing field.
Exactly. It profoundly levels the playing field. It allows smaller and mid-sized firms that might otherwise be totally hamstrung by budget limitations, to confidently compete on projects that were previously just out of reach. Because of tech barriers or the sheer complexity of the required software and hardware, it transforms that massive, fixed upfront investment into a flexible, scalable service, letting firms grow their capabilities smoothly as their project pipeline grows, all without that crushing, unpredictable weight of capital expenditure. It really is a game changer for financial agility, for competitive positioning, and for enabling more firms to actually innovate.
Okay, so beyond just getting access to the fancy tools and tech, it sounds like the partnership with AXA Engineers isn't just, transactional, sending files back and forth. You're suggesting it's something deeper, inherently collaborative, even educational. That sounds like a major benefit that goes way beyond just getting the task done.
Oh, it absolutely is much deeper. When a firm's internal teams work closely, collaboratively with the external specialists from AXA Engineers, they aren't just uploading and downloading files. They become deeply immersed in advanced workflows, sophisticated modeling techniques, cutting-edge design methodologies, things that would otherwise take months, maybe even years, of dedicated, expensive training to master internally.
Learning by osmosis, almost.
Sort of, but more active than that.
Yeah.
Every single deliverable that comes back from AXA Engineers, it's not just a finished product like a drawing set or a complex model or calculation package. By its very nature, it serves as a hands-on learning template.
Interesting. How so?
Well, it means every plan, every model, every calculation they produce follows rigorous international standards. It incorporates proven best practices, and it serves as a direct practical resource for continuous learning and measurable process improvement right within the client's own firm. Through this ongoing project-based interaction, real knowledge transfer becomes a natural, organic outcome of the collaboration itself.
I see.
Your internal engineers get direct exposure to standardized documentation, highly efficient workflows, the meticulous attention to detail needed for complex jobs. They gain a deep, practical understanding of both the advanced methods being used and the technical reasoning behind the key decisions. This isn't passive learning from a textbook or sitting in a lecture hall. This is like an active project-based masterclass happening in real time. Under the pressure of actual project deadlines and goals, it's learning by doing, by observing, by collaborating at the highest level of current industry practice.
So the benefits here really ripple outwards, well beyond just getting that specific project completed. It creates this sustainable, kind of virtuous cycle of continuous improvement within the client firm itself. Internal engineers absorb these new skills, they adapt the best practices they see, and they fundamentally improve their own firm's standard operating procedures, their overall technical muscle.
That's precisely right. This continuous organic improvement in technical capability lifts the entire internal team. It makes it genuinely possible for the firm to confidently go after more complex, higher-stakes projects, to robustly compete for higher-value work that might have been beyond their reach before.
Opens up new markets.
Exactly. And this upscaling process, it's inherently sustainable, repeatable. It lets the firm evolve dynamically with the industry without that constant draining pressure of continuous large-scale and, frankly, incredibly expensive internal training programs. And what's more, this deep collaboration with a specialized civil engineering outsourcing partner like AXA Engineers also provides invaluable direct exposure. Exposure to cutting-edge innovations in the field, things like advanced simulation tools, maybe for stress analysis or environmental impact modeling. Intelligent design workflows that are starting to leverage AI and machine learning for optimization. These are becoming more and more critical for delivering precise, highly optimized client-focused solutions in today's market.
Stuff that's hard to keep up with internally.
Very hard. Leading global outsourcing partners, certainly AXA Engineers falls into this category. They have proactively adopted and mastered these advanced technologies. They ensure their clients directly benefit from the latest advancements without the client having to make the direct investment themselves in the software, the hardware, or the extensive specialized training required. This approach doesn't just significantly improve project outcomes, leading to more efficient, more accurate, more innovative designs. It also fundamentally strengthens those client relationships we talked about earlier. By consistently delivering high-quality, up-to-date solutions that leverage the absolute forefront of civil engineering tech, it's a true win-win. It really does multiply a firm's knowledge, its capabilities, and ultimately its competitive advantage.
You know, as these collaborative practices, this whole new way of thinking about strategic civil engineering outsourcing, as it becomes truly embedded within a firm's day-to-day operations, it's strategic thinking. The perception of outsourcing itself just undergoes this profound, probably irreversible shift.
It really changes the mindset.
Yeah. It stops being seen as, a potential drain on internal expertise or a risk to quality control or even just a simple cost-cutting tactic. Instead, it transforms into exactly what we've been exploring today, a powerful, undeniable catalyst, a catalyst for exponential growth, and a genuine, deeply ingrained source of sustainable competitive advantage.
Absolutely. The internal team, now strategically freed from the weight of routine tasks and significantly upskilled through that direct, ongoing collaboration with specialized partners, they gain renewed focus. They gain unparalleled agility. They gain advanced knowledge. This strategically positions the firm for significant sustained growth. It allows them to truly thrive in what is, let's face it, a rapidly changing and increasingly complex industry. It fundamentally empowers them to adapt, to innovate constantly, and to lead with confidence rather than just reacting to whatever comes their way.
And look, this isn't just, anecdotal evidence from a handful of really forward-thinking firms. The broader market trends, they strongly back up this industry-wide shift. The global civil engineering outsourcing market is actually projected to grow at a pretty robust compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of 8.5% between 2023 and 2030.
That's significant growth.
It is. That's a clear, measurable, broad industry movement towards this strategic approach. It indicates widespread recognition of the inherent value we've been discussing.
It truly reflects that widespread recognition of the profound benefits we've unpacked today. By strategically partnering with highly capable organizations like AXA Engineers, civil engineering firms, gain that immediate targeted access. Access to deep expertise, access to cutting-edge advanced technology. This allows them to effectively redirect their most senior, most valuable talent towards that higher value strategic work. And crucially, it allows them to permanently resolve those persistent resource bottlenecks that we talked about right at the start of our conversation. It's really no longer just an option on the table. It's rapidly becoming a strategic imperative for future success, for sustainable growth, and for maintaining a real competitive edge in a dynamic global marketplace.
Okay, so as we bring this pretty extensive deep dive to a close, let's just quickly recap the really transformative key takeaways. Strategic civil engineering outsourcing, especially when you do it right, with a forward-thinking, technically advanced partner like AXA Engineers, it's about so much more than just shaving off costs. It's fundamentally about unlocking the hidden potential within your own internal talent, gaining immediate on-demand access to cutting-edge tech without that crippling upfront investment, and fostering a vibrant, ongoing culture of continuous learning and innovation right inside your own firm.
Yeah, and if we connect that to the bigger picture, for every civil engineering firm listening right now, this strategic approach is really about transforming your in-house talent,
Hmm.
transforming them from potentially being overwhelmed or underutilized or maybe technologically constrained into becoming a true, agile, powerful, competitive advantage for your firm. It's about empowering your most valuable people to do what they truly do best, to innovate, to lead, to strategically grow the business, and ultimately to build the future.
So here's the final thought, the provocative question maybe. If maximizing your team's incredible potential, embracing cutting-edge capabilities, and securing a sustainable path for growth, if those are your absolute top priorities, then what genuinely is stopping you from beginning that transformative conversation today? To truly redefine your civil engineering firm's future, are you ready to discover how a strategic partnership could unlock possibilities you haven't even imagined yet?
That's the key question.
It is. If this strategic shift we've discussed today resonates with the ongoing challenges or perhaps the untapped opportunities you see within your own organization, we strongly encourage you. Reach out to AXA Engineers. Explore initiating a strategic partnership that could genuinely redefine your firm's capabilities. Let that conversation begin. Maybe start by sharing which specific capability, whether it's boosting business development, getting access to technology, or accelerating internal upskilling, which one is the highest priority for you to scale within your own firm right now. And as always, we really encourage you to follow us, leave your comments, your insights, your questions. They help us understand what truly connects with you in these deep dives. It ensures we keep bringing you the most valuable discussions we can. Thanks so much for joining us on the AXA Engineers podcast.